hoping for a national championship. Welcome to our regional semifinal and final weekend coverage live from Las Vegas, everybody. You are watching and tuning into the Field of 68. We're presented by Bet Rivers and Underdog Fantasy. Get 100% deposit matchup to $100 with code FIELD. That's FIELD. And we are here at Stadium Swim at the Circa Resort. This space is absolutely unbelievable. We'll tell you about it in a few moments.
I'm going to go in for a dip. Can I go in for a dip?
Just keep your shirt on, Goodman.
Folks, swimmer discretion is advised.
Hey, Fanta,
If either one of us is getting in the pool,
if we have a cannonball contest, okay?
it's over.
It's over, right?
You win that.
It's over before it
in
starts.
a landslide.
Yeah, it's absolutely over before it starts.
Okay.
He's Rob Dauster. He's Jeff Goodman. He's Terrence Oglesby. I'm John Fanta. Producer Dagan Hughes is in the back drinking beers and trying to produce a show. Fellas, let's jump right in here. We are in Las Vegas. This has been a wild college basketball season. Jeff Goodman, your headline entering the Sweet 16 is what?
I mean, just how wide open it is. You know, how wide open it is. I'm looking at, like, here in Vegas, this Gonzaga team that we all wrote off a couple months ago, and now we're saying, you know what? They might, and we'll talk about this, they might get UCLA. Who knows? Maybe this could be the year for the Zags. We never thought we would say this back in November or December. So, again, wide open because NIL, the portal, the COVID year, it has closed the and the shitty basketballs. The shitty overinflated basketballs has also closed the gap.
It's taken skill out of the game.
A
To
lot
where
of it.
you see the
Yeah.
teams that play in
Yes.
mud, right? Tennessee, who couldn't shoot all year. Now
Right.
nobody
Right.
else could shoot
Right.
either. That certainly
Explain
helps.
to our listeners what you mean by the basketballs. What is going on? We know what's going
So
on. but
basically, they've got these Wilson basketballs that they use, but the bigger thing isn't the basketballs, because other teams in other leagues use different basketballs, okay, different brands, depending on who they're sponsored by. Sure. It's more of in the games, the regular season games, they have the managers pump them up, and they don't pump them, they don't overinflate them. Well, in these games, the NCAA tournament games, they have somebody like you, John Fanta, pumping them up, and they pump them up. They get excited, and they pump them up too much. So,
Inflategate.
So yeah, basically, it's what it is. It's like Tom Brady in
With the opposite.
Inflategate. Yeah, exactly. It's
I
the
mean,
opposite. Right.
administrators that don't play basketball.
Yes.
Yeah, truth be told, that's one of the things I remember about every postseason tournament I played in. Whether it was the ACC tournament or the NCAA tournament, both seasons, those balls, they're so inflated, they're hard as rocks. You know when you play with a ball at the community center and it's too inflated,
Yes.
you jam your finger every time? That's what they're playing with.
Really?
So it does
Yeah,
even
it's
it.
like-
Yeah.
I mean, they just and the rims also are different.
Yeah, but-
so it's a combination of everything. It's 30% three-point shooting through the first
Yeah,
weekend.
it's too low.
30%. That's a joke. I mean, that is awful. Good teams like Michigan State can't make a shot from three.
But Rob Dauster, does the ball really matter for the Connecticut Huskies?
I mean, they shoot it, so they're a good shooting team. But I do think that what it does is it levels the playing field.
Even
and
more.
I think when you look at a situation like Tennessee, right, our biggest concern with them all season long was whether or not they were going to be able to make enough shots, whether or not they were going to be able to score enough. But no one else is scoring, then it's a team that's going to be able to get bigger, more physical, beat you up, throw an elbow, maybe make a dirty play, maybe come from 40 feet away and try to tackle somebody.
Unbelievable.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, all of that has evened the playing field. But this is something, guys, we've talked about all season long. The extra year of eligibility, in my mind, is the biggest equalizer between those power conference teams and that next tier, that next level. Notice I didn't say tire, I said tier.
You did. Good job.
You're learning,
We're
man.
growing.
You're learning.
We're growing.
Congratulations.
No, but it's that next tier of teams. It's the Arkansas. Now, I understand but I'm talking perennial powers and blue bloods and all that stuff. That extra year has expanded out. There's more talent in the field, and in my mind, that's why this year has been so wide open. We talked all season long. It could be 8 to 10 teams this year. It's no longer the Baylor, the Gonzaga that we had a few years ago where it's just those two and everybody else. We have 16 teams left. 8 of them can win.
Sweet 16 gets underway later tonight, 6:30 Eastern time over on TBS. It's Kansas State and Michigan State from Madison Square Garden. Marquise Noel on one side, Tyson Walker on the other. Then at 7:15 Eastern time, Danny Hurley is going to meet Eric Musselman. Will both keep their shirts on throughout the 2 hours?
I mean, what's the over-under on technicals?
That's
Right?
That's the question.
And I heard
actually
from a
think they'll
source.
be on their best behavior. I really do. I believe they'll be on their better behavior. Maybe not their best, but it is an intriguing, fascinating matchup of coaches and teams. I mean, teams, because, again, you got Nick Smith coming off a goose egg in his last game. He doesn't look healthy. Either he doesn't look healthy or Musk just says, you know what? He's not our best player. Defensively, he's kind of been a mess. I can't put him out there. I need to win, and he's missed too much time this year.
And another thing is, he might be your most talented player long term, but I think Ricky Council is their best player right now. Right?
That's game 2 of the night. Game 3 comes your way at 9 Eastern time, TBS. Tennessee and FAU. It's just amazing to see the Florida Atlantic University Owls in the Sweet 16, New Orleans 33-3. And then at 9:45, 17 years to the day, Rob Dauster, of UCLA. And Gus Johnson going berserk with Adam Morrison crying. Zags, Bruins, Morrison will be on the radio call. Rob, what of the 4 games, what game are you most excited about? And don't pick the UConn-Arkansas one.
I mean, I think it's obviously Gonzaga and UCLA. It's got to be, right? You have 2 of the biggest brands in college basketball, 2 of the most famous programs. I think you can make the argument that with Duke gone, with Kentucky gone, with Kansas gone, with Indiana gone, with North Carolina not even in the dance, UCLA is, I mean, they're the biggest brand left, right? And Gonzaga's right there. Yeah. You could probably make the argument that UConn won 4
the
titles.
2 West Coast powers.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
they're
the
with
West Coast
Arizona.
powers,
Yeah.
and they're going to be playing in Vegas. I mean, look, let's call it what it is. This is going to be a Gonzaga-favored crowd.
Well,
tonight.
just because
It's going
UCLA
to
doesn't
be.
travel.
UCLA doesn't
Nobody
travel.
I was here earlier this year in November, and there were like 25 fans here.
Why?
Nobody
They're
cares
front
in Los
runners.
Angeles.
Yeah, they don't. Too many pro sports, too many other things to do.
Is there something that the Pac-12 can do at this point? I mean, because they're losing UCLA and
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
merge
what-
with another league. That's what they're going to have to do. Merge with the Big 12. Like, that's their best bet right now.
how would you feel if you were Arizona being an alum?
Yeah, I'm pissed off. I mean, it sucks. The Pac-12 sucked to begin with this year. And now you're going to lose its kind of cornerstone program. You know, Arizona and UCLA, certainly. The rivalry's gone. USC's been pretty good. They've been pretty good. They've been arguably like the 3rd or 4th best program in the league the last 5 years. So, yeah, I mean, I saw the commissioner walking around last night in one of the casinos, and I wanted to go up to him and say, like, no gambling, man. Like, let's get some teams here. Go to the table and let's get the Big 12.
Let me ask you this, since we're in Las Vegas. If you could play blackjack with any coach in America, anybody,
Hurley. I mean, Hurley. Here,
Hurley.
I played with Mark Few. I mean, I got a great Mark Few story. It's too long to tell, but it involves Mel Gibson, a 19-year-old
Gibson.
girl, and Mel Gibson with his shirt. I have a T-shirt, luckily, so like his shirt like down to here. And
Please stop taking your shirt off.
no, I have a T-shirt.
We don't need an
We're
example.
good. Stop taking
We
your
don't
shirt
need
off.
an example.
I know it's Vegas, but nobody wants to see that.
What are you doing? Are you taking your shirt off right now?
No, I'm not taking my shirt off. I'm just showing you. Mel Gibson, man, he was out of his mind that night. And Mark Few, what
is going on right now?
It was entertaining. It was a great night of blackjack.
All right, let's try to get the train
Was it
back
better
on the
or
track.
worse than your night of blackjack last night?
Not a good
It
night. But I'm going
wasn't
to get
good.
all my money back today.
Yeah.
All of my money.
Went about as
good
well as
thing
the ACC's first weekend of the tournament.
That's right.
The what?
I said it went about as well as the ACC's
Yes.
and the Big
Yeah,
Ten's
pretty
opening
much.
weekend of the tournament.
Pretty much.
Let's turn to this question. I'm going to ask all 3 of you here before we close out our first segment. Alabama and Houston are the teams that people are picking to win it all. If I said to you, Rob Dauster, you got to put your stock in one other team that you think is cutting down the nets, that team is?
I mean, it's UConn. But I don't think I'm going to be the only one that says that. I don't think I'm going to be the only one that says that.
was
If
gonna
you
be
want
the
me to
only
pick
one that
someone
says
else,
that.
if you want me to pick someone else, I'm going Kansas State. You're going to pick Michigan State to win.
course
I
I
think
am.
you're going to pick Michigan State to win. I know where you stand already, Fanta. Marquise Noel,
He's awesome.
his Twitter name is Mr. New York City. He's from Harlem. Okay, he was
He's
just
going to the Garden.
He was
going
just
to the Garden.
He was just the best player in the first weekend of the tournament.
lot of pressure.
He's going to Madison Square Garden. You think this kid feels pressure?
I think he's going to feel pressure.
I don't think he feels pressure at all.
I do because everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking
He
about
wants
How he
the
was
pressure.
against
And
Kentucky.
he's
going
from
up
New
against-
York. He
he's going
wants
up
the
against
pressure.
Another New York point guard in Tyson Walker.
Is his Twitter handle Mr. New York
It's
City?
not. I don't know what his Twitter handle
It's
is.
Mr. New York City going to
you
the Garden.
think-
What are we even talking about here?
Do you think Izzo takes this and says, hey, he claims he's Mr. New York, fellas?
I think Izzo takes this and says, you know what? I have 55 NCAA tournament wins. Hey, you know that guy down there? He has two. I'm a Hall of Famer. He's a rookie. I have 5 dudes that can play. He's got 2. I'm going to take one of them out of the game.
Counterpoint.
I'm going to take one of them out.
How many career losses does Tom Izzo have in the NCAA tournament?
A lot. But
How
he's
many?
got the most
How many
wins
does Jerome Tang have?
He's got the
How
most
many does
wins
Jerome Tang have?
of a
That would be a goose egg
He's
right
got
there.
the most, I think, wins of or upset wins in NCAA tournament history.
Yes, he does. Who's your team outside Alabama and Houston that you're trusting?
I would have to go with UConn, just because the way the game has been played.
He did it with UConn.
I know, because the way the game's been played, physicality wins. In this tournament, physicality
But it
wins.
depends. It depends what crew you're going to get to. It really depends.
It certainly does, but it's been a consistent theme throughout. It doesn't matter really.
Because they want to get to the Final Four, the officials. Once they get there, I actually think they're going to call it a little bit looser. I don't think they're going to call it as tight once they know they're there. The officials call it this way in order to get to the Final Four.
Well, here's my point to that too, and you're absolutely right. They want to get to the Final Four, but none of these crews have really worked together all that much. This is a random hodgepodge
true.
of guys.
Yeah.
Like some guys will swallow their whistle thinking the other guy's going to make that call. That's not a consistent. They don't have any consistency with the crews they're working with, so it hurts that a little bit. But because of the way the game's been played and the dominance of UConn's front court, I have to go with UConn.
Let's turn to some national storylines for a moment.
You didn't ask me who I went with. Come on.
Oh,
What is this?
well,
already
you
know
got
who you're
Michigan
taking.
State, I think.
Yeah, you're taking
Don't you have
Michigan
Michigan
State.
State?
I am taking
Yeah, you
Michigan
took the
State.
Spartans. We keep the train on the tracks
You got to
here.
ask. You can't just assume.
We all assume with you.
All right.
Because you are an asshole.
All right.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Thanks. It's okay. I've been called a lot worse in the last 48 hours.
No, you haven't been.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, wow.
What was the worst?
I don't know. Somebody, there was I can't even mention it.
Your email. People have your email.
Don't give it to him, though. Don't make it easy for him.
Mailbag. Well, let's check in on the coaching carousel
Sure.
here. So the big news of the last 24 hours is that Micah Shrewsbury is off to South Bend to Notre Dame. Now, this comes after some of the reports that Penn State was going to back up a Brinks truck.
They did.
They tried to.
did. They backed it up, but you want to know how much Notre Dame paid him a year? You ready for this number? No, you guys are going to be blown away. $4.75 million a year, Mike. Good. Hey. There you go, baby. 'Cause you know
How
what?
big
Mike
is your house in South Bend for
Oh my
$4.75
goodness!
million?
And Mike
It's a
is the
freaking
best
cathedral.
dude.
That's unbelievable.
He is the best dude in the world. Penn State stepped up, but 4.75 is 4.75, and he's from Indiana.
That's right.
He's an Indiana guy who understood the upset. Listen, Penn State, where would you put it among the BCS jobs? Take away what he's done in the last year or two. Where would you put Penn State as a job among the Power 5 jobs? With DePaul, like, not much better. Not much better.
Way down.
Right, that's
Way
what I'm saying.
down.
It's a bottom 5 Power 6 job.
Yeah.
Yep, I would
Like
say
third to last in the Big Ten.
He tapped it out. Just like, we'll talk a little bit about Cooley, maybe we won't, but I actually want to get your thoughts on Cooley after sitting down with him yesterday. But Micah Shrewsbury understood Notre Dame is still, they were horrible this year, but the upside is still there for Notre Dame. As long as they
You know
can
why?
take transfers.
You know why?
That's the key.
Because at Penn State, how much more can you do than what they did last year at Penn State?
Nothing.
He
No,
maxed it out. It's the same thing as cool. Like he maxed it out last year. Whereas at Notre Dame, you could win the ACC at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You legitimately
They
could
hadn't
win
won
the
an
ACC.
What are you
NCAA
laughing
tournament
at?
game. He just said, did he say it's the same thing as Cooley? That's what he said.
Okay. I'll just.
We'll talk about that. We've got a
There's a
break,
lot going on.
We got to talk about Cooley.
We've
We
gotta-
got to talk about Cooley.
and
We
we'll
will.
do that coming up. We've got a break here. We are live from Las Vegas at Stadium Swim at the Circa Resort. Folks, there's already people
Ben is
swimming
jumping
here.
in. He's gonna jump
They're
in later.
Living it up. Temperature ranges from 78 to 94 degrees, depending on the weather here. fifth level pools can be heated up to 104, which will be the temperature of his head
Right
by
now.
the end of our show.
I'm going to turn into a dodgeball.
Coming up, we'll preview the West Region. You are watching our preview show presented by Bet Rivers and Underdog Fantasy here on the Field of 68.
Today's episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play college basketball pick'em, where you can get a little extra sweat during March Madness and win real cash prizes simply by picking player stats in this weekend's games. In pick'em, all you do is predict whether a player will go higher or lower on Underdog's projected totals, whether that's points, rebounds, whatever. For example, if you're like me and you think Zach Edey is going to go nuts in this tournament, pick higher on his points projection, add up to 4 more picks, and if you hit them all, you can win 20 times your money on a single game. Underdog's slick mobile app is easy enough that dummies like Jeff Goodman have even figured it out. So go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app and use the code FIELD, F-I-E-L-D, and Underdog will match your deposit up to $100. Now is the time to get in on the madness. So remember, UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code.
After carrying water all week, it's great to be in the desert.
You really do. You carry a lot of water.
It's great to be in the desert. And while it's cooler in Washington, D.C., they're putting a little English on it in Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh, I like that.
Woo. Welcome
Very
back.
well done. Very
Welcome
well done.
back. I've come to the desert here. I was too wet. Field of 68. We're presented by Bet Rivers. We're from Stadium Swim at the Circa Resort. They've got great beverages. They've got great swimming. They've got all kinds of fun. Come stop and see us. We are here all day tomorrow.
The entire day.
The entire day.
The
Surely
entire
that'll end
day.
well.
Yeah, if you want
We're
to
going to put in a
beers with us-
14-hour shift at the Stadium Swim.
Yeah.
I will
14
backflip in
hours.
this pool.
If only Randolph
There is a
Childress was here to
100%
bet on
line.
everything.
Sun went down. T.O.'s feeling
We're
better.
good now. I feel
His
much
head's
better.
feeling better.
RC
feel like
got
hockey.
cut off, man. He can't do it anymore.
He can't.
He doesn't have any money
So
left. He lost it all.
here's what happened last year. Randolph Childress spent about 16 hours in a Philadelphia casino.
The Rivers Casino in Philly,
And he basically bet every eligible bet that you could make, and that was the last time he ever bet in his life.
That was also the first time he ever bet. He'd never bet before. So he was like, the first time he walked over there, it was hilarious. He's trying to figure out how to work the machines, right? And he comes back and he's like, did I do it right? And we're like, yeah, you got a ticket. And then like 10 minutes later, he walked over and he comes back and he's got like a 24-leg parlay. And the ticket is like literally this long. We're like, what did you do? He's like, I'm going to win $400,000 right now. It's like, okay, RC.
Meanwhile, if you need any picks for the remainder of the day, go to CoachChrisMack.com. All right, let's talk about the West Region. It gets underway here this evening with Arkansas and UConn. You know, but before we look at the matchup itself, let's look at how Arkansas got here, right? An amazing win over Kansas, in which Devo Davis and Ricky Council IV went for 46 points combined. Obviously, this team's been through some stuff between injuries and Trayvon Brazile being out for the year, but they finally peaked. How have they put together their best basketball again at the right time?
Well, this is Muss working his magic. There's no other way to put that. Third year in a row in the second weekend. This is what Muss does. He's going to let you doubt him a little bit, let you doubt him, and then he's going to put the ball in his best player's hands. Ricky Council, Devo Davis, those are dudes. And that's not even counting some of their super talented freshmen. Nick Smith, who really hasn't gotten going. Guys, I'm a big fan, though, of the other two.
Yeah.
Jordan Walsh, Anthony Black, really good.
What he did so well against Kansas was he figured out they were switching everything. And so what he did, whoever was DeJuan Harris was guarding, he had Mekhi Mitchell come up and set a ball screen, force the switch there. So you got DeJuan Harris guarding their 5, and whoever the 5-man is guarding whoever DeJuan Harris was guarding. Happened to be Ricky Council down the stretch, Devo Davis sometimes, and he just said go one-on-one, and if you miss, our 5-man is being boxed out by a point guard. So my question is this for both of you guys. Where do you think he's going to find a matchup that he tries to attack? Because UConn won't switch.
Before we start giving Muss all this credit, and we should because he's done a good job, if DeJuan Harris is healthy in that second half, Arkansas loses by 15 points. He couldn't move. Sure. He could not move. He was literally, they put him in the corner. So you don't have Bill Self, your Hall of Fame coach, and your most important player.
That's fine. So you know what he did?
So
you go with the guy that's injured.
Yeah, it's fine. Listen, he did a good job. I'm just saying, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. UConn's going to win this game. They're going to win this game. They are. They're going to the kiss of death. The kiss of death.
You
That's what he
just sent
thinks.
him into oblivion. Yeah, you did. Because honestly, you're
I believe in jinxes, man. Come on. Why are you doing this to me?
whoever's sitting next to you during the first game tonight, God bless them. Seriously, they should be given
Better
like
not be me.
They should be given like a $500 chip to use at the nearest casino.
I
Now,
will
Muss
take
has done a
donations.
great job.
He has.
Yes, he's done a great job. But again, it was advantageous for him that he went up against Norm Roberts and DeJuan Harris, who could
Wait a
not
minute.
move.
Who's the better coach tonight then? Musselman or Hurley?
Musselman's a better coach. I mean, listen, he's been to 2 Elite Eights. You can't even argue that right now.
What does this moment represent for Danny Hurley?
I mean, I think it represents.
I don't think it represents anything. To be
He
honest,
does?
maybe get to a Final Four.
he,
How does
but
it
he, but
represent
he,
nothing?
he
How
got
does it
there.
represent nothing?
Right now he's playing with house money.
No, he's
I
not.
disagree.
This is
He beat
UConn.
St. Mary's in Iona.
No way.
This
no
is
way.
UConn.
House money.
You're out of
This
your
is
mind.
not house money.
This is UConn.
No.
They're not. You're not celebrating Sweet 16.
Talking to the mic. Talking
not
to the mic.
celebrating
he's not,
Sweet
He's not
16s.
celebrating it, right?
You are.
No, I'm not celebrating it.
You just said they're
But
playing
what
with
I'm
house
saying,
money.
Well,
but
house
what I'm saying
money.
is, yes.
No.
No, you beat
This
St.
is
Mary's.
UConn.
He had to get the
Rob,
win.
Rob,
yes.
wait a minute, Rob. They'd be hold on, let me jump in. They'd be playing with house money if they were an 8 or 9 seed, like Arkansas
They're
was
the
playing with house
favorite.
money.
No.
They're a
They're
4
the-
seed.
right,
They
they're-
beat Iona
they're
and St.
5-point
Mary's.
favorite.
St. Mary's, who had an injury during the game to
Yeah,
Alex Dukas.
Dukas looked like me walking around there. He could barely move. He was like trying to get in the. Come on. I mean, listen.
This is not a house money situation.
No,
for him.
hell no.
Absolutely.
No,
No,
it's
you got to
not.
get to the Final Four right now if you're UConn.
The
There-
table
there's
will
an
never be
opportunity.
set up as well as it is
You
now.
are 100% correct. And with the
That's
with
why
how
they have
strong,
to make
with
this.
how strong the Big East is, right? You're looking at a situation where you're adding Rick Pitino. Georgetown might be great again. Trust me, I get all that. But you're talking about a program that hadn't won the NCAA tournament game in 7 years, hadn't been in the second weekend in 9 years, with a coach had been upset in the first round of the tournament. Like, what he needed to do this year was win a game in the tournament.
But now you
Well,
have an
he did-
opportunity. You're the
Yes.
favorite. Like
Yes.
to me,
Which is
again,
why I'm saying you're playing with house money.
When you say house
I
money,
think
you
people are
indicate
thinking
when-
your road is paved. Certainly getting the Elite Eight and maybe get to a Final Four right now.
Yes, I hope it happens. I hope it
It's-
happens. But it's not like if Danny Hurley had lost in the first round, if he loses to Iona, then there were going to be people that were saying, "Yo, we got to get rid of him."
Right, agreed,
Like this ain't
agreed.
work. Like
That's-
he can't
yeah.
win in March. Like he's got to
No,
go.
listen.
And now
they
it's
feel
to the
better. They feel better about where the program's at and where it's headed. I get it. But man, the narrative completely changes on Dan Hurley if he gets to a Final Four compared to a
Yes.
Sweet 16.
Yes.
And-
So he's got a lot. He's got a lot to get to. But it's not like he came into this with the pressure of if you lose in the first round, like there are going to be UConn fans that are calling for your job.
Yes,
That's what I'm saying.
True. That's true.
Like I don't think you fully appreciate how
Hard
how
winning
mu-
is.
Well, no.
That's
How
true.
much fans?
Where he was.
How much UConn fans like are bipolar on him? There are fans that believe he's the best.
Okay.
There are also fans that are like, this guy ain't it. He
Yeah,
can't do
but
it.
but by that logic, then Hubert Davis should have been fired like a month ago. I'm just saying, fans don't determine what, or at least they shouldn't determine what athletic directors do. Fan noise is part of every program. It is. It's going to be part of any program that's a notable enough brand.
It's
You
the
think that-
biggest part of Providence's brand.
Yeah, right now, and at one point this year, I'm sure there were Duke fans who were like, "I don't know if Shire's the guy long term. I'm not pleased with John Shire. John Shire is the guy for Duke, but fan noise is part of it. That's part of being the coach of Connecticut. Under no circumstances, as a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, is the University of Connecticut ever playing with house money in the Sweet 16.
No.
Now, I'm going to ask you this: from what you saw from UConn, because you just said they can get to a Final Four, why?
I mean, listen, they got 2 bigs that just wear you down. I mean, Sonogo comes in, and he's hard to guard.
Yep.
And then you bring in Klingon, who's just defensively, he is a monster in there. And even offensively to some regard, because, again, he can clean up on the glass. You can throw him lobs. He takes so much pressure. And, again, against the bigs of Arkansas, the Mitchell twins, Graham, like, they don't stand a chance to me against those 2. And you also have a dude. Jordan Hawkins cannot sleepwalk through the first half. He cannot sleepwalk. He's got to be a full 40-minute-a-game guy. And if he is, then they have a chance to win this whole thing. If
Yes.
Jordan Hawkins turns into Rip Hamilton, they got a chance.
You know what makes them so dangerous is that when they bring in the second 5, where they got Diarra out there, where they bring in Calcaterra, when they got Naheem Aline, when they play Klingon at the 5, and usually they have Andre Jackson out there as well, that lineup does so many more different things than what their starting lineup does, and there's not that much of a drop-off between the guys.
Lineup versatility. Lineup versatility. Yes. They can go and have, brain fart, freshman kid.
Klingon.
Not Klingon, the 4-man shooter.
Caravan.
So they can go Caravan at the 4. Yeah. They can bring Klingon in. They can put Sonogo at the 4 and then go Klingon at the 5 if they just want to beat you up.
They got
just
shooters, they got shooters, they got a wing and a lead wing.
They have a rim attack guy in
They just don't have a point guard.
They have
listen, the only reason why I don't think they can win it all is because we've been through this. When's the last team to win it all not to have a high level point guard? Forget about the fact that they don't really have a point guard. Good.
That's the biggest knock on them.
Right. I don't think they win it all.
If you go back and you look, you basically need 2 playmakers. You need 2 guys off the bounce.
But how many have 2 right now?
I think
there aren't many. That's why
Michigan State does.
Right, Andre
I
Jackson's
think Andre
that guy.
Jackson's a quality secondary playmaker.
But he's not a point
So
guard.
He's not a point guard.
Theo, they have Tristan Newton, they have Andre Jackson.
Neither of which
are
are
they
point
going
guards.
to be good enough to be able to get it done?
So
That's the big question.
That's the question.
That's the big question.
Let's accelerate the train here because we got to get to UCLA Gonzaga. Give me a winner for this game, Rob.
No, you've said house money. Go ahead and pick Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Go ahead, all the way in.
Arkansas. Lock it in. Arkansas. Guaranteed. Lock it in. Hogs. Go Hogs. Shout out to Clint Sterner. Where's
I don't
Mama
have
Hog?
that power. Who's the boss?
I don't know. Whatever. I got UConn. I got UConn in this one. I think this could get ugly. I think it has the potential to get ugly because Arkansas shoots it like shit from 3. And if UConn makes some, which they have the ability to do, they got enough shooters. If Joey California gets going and Aline get going in that second unit, it's going to be a long night for Arkansas.
I think so, too. And you can't just make them switch. I think over the last few years when Muss has made his runs, he's exploited matchups. Where's the matchup? Tristan Newton, he's 6'4", 6'5". It's tough. I don't know where they're going to find those matchups.
And the other thing is, okay, you know what? Yeah, you have Ricky Council. All right, go ahead, try to drive in, which is what Ricky Council does against Donovan Klingon.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
You can't say enough right now about Sonogo because he's just a constant workhorse.
Yeah.
He's so consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we speak like he had a combined. I don't care who the competition is. 2 NCAA tournament games, 2 commanding wins, 52 points and 21 rebounds combined. The man is a beast. Arkansas doesn't have somebody that can really match up with him great. This comes down to Arkansas trying to speed UConn up. Exactly. Arkansas needs to disrupt UConn. Connecticut wins by 8. Game 2, UCLA, Gonzaga. This game comes down to what?
I think it really comes down to guards and which team is able to enforce their tempo. UCLA loves to go a little bit slower. I felt like Gonzaga in their last game, they were able to get going a little bit, and Drew Timmy's been fantastic. However, this game slows down to a crawl. I like UCLA.
So this is easy for me. Adem Bona's questionable at best to play in this game.
Sure.
He's a tough kid. I talked to him yesterday. He was non-committal whether he was going to be able to play. Maybe he guts it out, but he's got that shoulder injury.
Sure.
Not a scorer, but a rebounder, right? Like, you're going to be in there
matchup
playing against Drew Timmy.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard enough for a healthy Adem Bona to match up against Drew Timmy. Probably would foul out in 10 minutes healthy. They don't have a lot behind, Bona, right? What do they got? Kenneth the Cuba? Like they don't have a lot. So to me, I just think this is a recipe for disaster because I think you go to the well with Timmy, and he's become a really good passer.
Yes.
So he's going to get, guys like Hickman. I was talking to Hickman yesterday, and he knows the pressure is on him. He understands, and he played well in that game against St. Mary's in the WCC tournament.
Sure.
Hit 4 threes. And to me, if Hickman and those other guys drop, they just have more. They have more where UCLA is so reliant on 2.5 guys offensively with Bailey being the third. I just don't know how they win this without a big.
The key is going to end up being the tempo. To me,
tempo,
look, with Bona, without Bona, if you have a shoulder injury and you're a big guy and you have to go up and you got to bang against 6'10", 245 Drew Timmy, and you got to try to put your hands up to block a shot. And go try to get a rebound. That's painful. So I'm not super concerned about that. And I think we've kind of known that at best he's playing at like 70%. It's going to come down to tempo. Can UCLA get this into the mud?
Sure.
Can they keep it in the 60s?
They probably will.
They will, because they're going to walk it up, and it's
probably
easier to
keep
slow
it
the ball down.
close.
So I do think it's going to come down to that, but that might not matter. And if you're gonna slow down Gonzaga, you have to be able to score the ball. You got to make them take it out through the net, take it out of bounds.
And here's another thing too. At the beginning of the season, us three, we went to Texas to watch Gonzaga at Texas. We were like, man, these Gonzaga guards, are they good enough compared to what they've had before? However, that was then. That was in what, November? They've improved a lot, and they've gotten much better as the season's progressed. This game's, I'm telling you, I think the point number is 74. Above
74?
Above 74. I'm not going race to 69. We're not going to do that. I think the point number, if it's above 74, I think Gonzaga wins. If both teams are below 74, I think UCLA wins.
If Gonzaga
race
gets
to
to
74.
75, they win?
Yeah, we're in Vegas.
All right, who's going to win the game?
Go ahead. Theo, who's going to win?
I think, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think because of the injuries, I think Gonzaga's able to find a way.
I do too. I question UCLA's depth before all this, before Jalen Clark and Bona were hurt.
Yeah.
If Mick Cronin pulls this one off, holy shit. I mean,
best coach in UCLA history.
Settle down, Gary Parrish.
Go take a dip.
I'm taking Gonzaga, but it pains me. I'm physically pained picking against Jaime Jaquez and Tiger Cable. Like, to me, those are the two winners in college basketball right
and
now.
they're like just
But I just feel like the narrative
and their approach, how they handle themselves, how they've been. I love both of them. I just don't think they've enough
I just
help.
feel like the narrative of Gonzaga in the year when everybody doubted them, finding a way to make a run, like that just feels like what they're going to do. Imagine them winning it all this year. Like, this is the year they get the title. Imagine
they
that.
win it all. They're going to knock off your UConn Huskies in the Elite Eight.
We're already playing with house money, man.
That's
right.
nonsense.
All right, Julian Strother, his ability to dictate certain points of the game, I think is really important because Jaquez is the epitome of a winner. Sure. And, like, Strother can't just lose that matchup of wing play and of shot making. I'm betting on Campbell and Jaquez and Cronin. I go UCLA.
It's just, here's the thing. Again, it's kind of similar to Kansas State in some ways, right? Like, you take away one of those two dudes.
What's the line? It's got to be close.
The line is 1.5.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's hard to take them away, and you just
You're
said
getting
it.
1.5.
Mick can muck it up.
Well, again, like, I don't know. Jaquez and Tiger have to go for what? 40-ish, 40, 45?
Yeah, absolutely.
40, 45 points. I just don't know if that's going to... To me, the biggest thing for, like, Rasheer Bolton is just guard. We don't even need you to do a lot offensively.
Yeah.
Just guard.
But you do because
nah, you don't.
I-
You got enough
because Nolan Hickman has not been good enough in the backcourt.
Okay,
and Malachi Smith has been fine, he's
been better than fine coming up the bench. He's had some big games.
but he's been good. But you still need to find a way to score. Like, UCLA is going to be a very good defensive team. They are great defensively. They might be the best defensive team left in this tournament right now.
Yeah, they're up.
Not named Tennessee. Sorry, T.O. Take it back.
Doesn't that defeat?
Yeah, but they don't play football.
But you got to be able to score against this UCLA team. And where else are you going to get it from the backcourt if you're Gonzaga?
Well, you're going to get it from Timmy passing out of the double or passing how he faces up and kicking.
Yeah, but
that's how you're going to get it because they're going to have to help on him.
But you talk about having high level point guard play. UCLA has that advantage.
They do. And I'm not saying Gonzaga's going to win it all. I'm saying they're going to win this game because
Okay.
UCLA doesn't have enough. They don't have enough depth.
All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. 2 segments down, 2 to go on our Sweet 16 preview. We are live at Stadium Swim at the Circa Resort, folks. People are having a blast. T.O. at some point is going to do a cannonball. We're just getting started here as we take a quick timeout on Field of 68. And we take that timeout to tell you about Run Your Pool. My bracket's busted already. The read says, thanks Purdue. No, like maybe thank Kansas or Duke. We were never going to thank them before the tournament. They were always destined to lose in the first weekend.
Wow.
It just went a game, but no, it's
I picked
true.
them to lose.
You picked them to lose. You liked Penny Hardaway.
Love Penny.
Goodman loves Penny.
I do like Penny.
Don't worry, though, because if you're like me, you get a second crack at this. Run Your Pool is hosting a Sweet 16 pool for us. You could beat our ass. There's a $500 prize pool for the Sweet 16 Challenge. Yes, $500. So you get to compete against us again. Make sure to check out Run Your Pool if you need to host any bracket challenger pool. They have more than 50 game types for every sport you can think of, from a traditional bracket pool to survivor games, head-to-head games, pickaxe games, and our favorite squares. The scoring is customizable. You can tailor your rules to your liking. So make sure you get to play.runyourpool.com/field68 and get your picks in before the Sweet 16 tips off. As we welcome you back here to Las Vegas, everybody. Stadium Swim at the Circa Resort. We're presented by Bet Rivers. We're presented by Underdog Fantasy. Get 100% deposit match up to $100 with code FIELD. Let's turn. What?
I just love how you're like, we're gonna take a quick break, and this is our break. All right, now we're back. We never went anywhere. We're right here the whole time.
I didn't take a break, but you took a break.
2-second break.
Yeah. All right, let's
Well
talk.
done, well
Let's.
done.
I feel like I don't even know. Up is down, left is right. Somehow Dulles Airport happened last night. Have you ever been in Dulles Airport?
Sucks.
Not a fan.
I had to
You
settle
always
on.
got to fly out of Reagan,
My
man.
dinner
What are you
last
doing?
night was Auntie Anne's pretzels. Horrible. It wasn't good.
We'll get you a good steak.
I will
good
make sure
steak
you get a
dinner tonight.
really good meal. We'll get a good meal
The
tonight.
cows
right?
need to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, I need some red meat bad. Yeah. Like, right? Don't
Right,
you need it bleeding?
Yep.
Things could bleed at the Garden tonight. Big time games. Big time wars. You
What a
got
transition.
can't
What a transition.
not like
Well done.
Not like
gonna
that.
be bleeding?
Not like that Garden. Madison Square Garden.
Gotcha. Even better. You just doubled down. It got even better.
Michigan,
going.
Michigan State and Kansas State. FAU, Tennessee. You know what question I'm actually going to ask? Can FAU
People are going to
win?
be there?
Can FAU
How many people are actually going to go?
I was trying to be nice. Can FAU win?
Yeah, of course they can win. Do you know what, by the way, Rick Barnes' record against the spread is in his last 13 games? 1-12 in the tournament. 1-12. Now, not just against the spread, Rick Barnes has not exactly tasted a ton of success in March, right? Like, went to a Final Four with TJ Ford at Texas, went to, a couple of Sweet 16s there, but he has not done well at Tennessee in the tournament and late in his career at Texas. Dusty May's got guards, right? That's the one thing they've got is guards. I watched them earlier this season practice in Boca, and they're not big, but they got guys who can beat you off the bounce.
Sure.
And Tennessee, again, what do they not have? They don't have a point guard. They don't have a point guard. Vescovi's done a good job filling in for Ziegler, but
Yeah.
they don't have a dude that you give the ball to in a close game. In
Do you
a close
agree?
game.
Do you agree with that?
The only thing you say they're creating, they better be 5 wide, and FAU they play a traditional 5, and you're going to be running down there into some really big dudes, and they do such a good
He's
job.
big, though. Vlad's a big boy.
But he is a big boy. I'm not concerned about him matching up with Plavsic. I'm concerned with the guards getting past their guy and then running into Plavsic, and then with rotations.
He'll foul out and he may not
But
foul
here's
out.
the thing.
He's gonna-
I said this the other day. Those first 2 fouls against Duke, they put him
Set
out of the
the tone,
game.
but
It
they set
set
the
the tone for
Totally,
the game.
totally.
And if he might break some bones tonight, and they're not going to be his. Like, he'll figure out a way. But Tennessee does such a good job of shrinking the floor to where there's not a whole lot of room to operate. You're going to have to hit jump shots over them consistently to beat them. And if those balls are inflated, it's going to be tough.
But FAU is a good
be
three-point
inflated.
shooting
They'll be
team.
inflated.
But here's what I got to say about this. So we all came into this tournament saying we don't think Tennessee can do anything.
That's true.
I came into it saying I'm going to pick them to lose in the first round.
I think I
picked them
picked
to
them in
win.
the Final Four at the beginning of the season.
They were 11-point favorites in the first
Should
round,
have.
and they won by 3. They blew an 18-point lead, right? Then they went out and
Stay
they
with your
physically
gut.
manhandled a Duke team. Are you guys? What are you just having your own conversation over there,
Just
T.O.?
over here, just side mouthing because I should have stuck with
No,
Tennessee
we were
all
just
year.
commenting how, like, on this channel, it seems like all the takes from the start of the season from, like, him, nobody ever remembers. But if you make them, they somehow resurface this time of the year.
That's exactly right.
It is true.
What was your take?
I've been saying this since
He
September.
said Tennessee would make the Final Four in the preseason.
Yeah, but after Ziegler went down.
And then you got off the bandwagon.
Nobody believed they were going to get to the Final Four. Rick Barnes and without Ziegler, come on.
I mean, I'm not making it up, Goodman.
You're not, but you are not. Before the tournament, you did not think they
Absolutely
would,
not.
they
I
would
thought-
be in
I
the
thought-
equation for
I
Final
thought-
Four.
no, I
Maybe
thought
they
they
could
would
win a
win.
game or two.
I thought they would lose to
Hey,
Duke.
do I need to have Seth call you? Go ahead, Rob.
I just think Florida Atlantic's going to win. I think they're going to win.
He's got so many beefs, you can just start saying names.
Davis.
Davis. I love Seth Davis.
Yeah,
the
we
other
love,
Seth.
Yeah. Yes. The, wait, okay, so let's go to Michigan State, Kansas State. think it's going to be a great game.
Great game. I did too.
What do you
Thank God
see
New
in
York
it?
got that one because, again, the other one could be a little bit ugly. I love this one. I mean, again, we kind of referenced it early. Izzo, Tang, the difference there. Then you've got two teams that are completely different in terms of how they're put together. Michigan State is put together on balance without the portal, and Kansas State is put together with two dudes, really, and the portal. The portal made them relevant this year because without Keontae Johnson, this might have been an NIT team.
Yeah. I'm all in on this Kansas State team.
You love
right
him.
now. I love.
I
This
love
Kansas
Noel.
State team.
Who doesn't love Noel?
I think
we
he's
saw him in
gonna-
person. How tall is Marquis? And don't call him a little kid.
No, I would
You
not.
have to call him and apologize.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
he's not what he lacks in stature. He makes up for in this.
Yep.
I think that him coming home, Mr. New York City.
Can I say something? You're going into this, and Eminem is
Yes.
playing. Go ahead, go.
Go with it.
It's like, it feels like a movie trailer.
This is your time, Rob.
Yeah, I'm into it. No, I think with I can't imagine him not going into this game.
But he might
and-
be too high.
He sent Cal Packer to Lexington.
Go ahead. It's Spanish show. I'm tapping out. It's Spanish show.
Kentucky Sports Radio hates me right now because of what I said earlier this week.
What'd you say?
I
Called
just
them
said
the
I
Dallas
said that
Cowboys.
Kentucky's the Dallas Cowboys of college basketball,
They have been lately.
and they said, "Well, the Dallas Cowboys haven't won anything since the '90s, man. You're going off recent history."
I mean, more recent, sure. More recent, but they've been really
10
bad
years.
over the last 3 years.
Let me ask you a question about this, though.
Yeah.
Seriously. Who's guarding Keontae Johnson? Who are you putting on him?
Really have, I mean,
They don't have. Jaden
No.
Akins is probably their best defender.
Malik Hall?
But Jaden
yeah,
Akins
you're
gives
gonna
up a
have to
good
put
like
both of them.
50
You're gonna have
pounds.
to put Malik
right?
Hall on him at times.
It's probably going to be Malik Hall.
Right.
Do you trust Malik Hall to stop Keontae Johnson?
All I want him to do is be physical.
And here's my other
Be
question,
physical.
right?
Keontae also, we've seen him, and he's awesome, but when he tends to drive, a lot of times he doesn't have a plan when he drives.
There's a lot to be said there.
Okay,
That's a
so
good point.
so I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to put him, to be honest, get up in him, make him have to put it on the floor, and be a decision maker. I don't want Noel having the ball in his hands.
I think the biggest concern that I have for Michigan State there is that when you have someone that's a little bit bigger than Keontae Johnson, that tends to be where he thrives because he's kind of like a stretch four in a two guard's body.
I think he'll
Right?
settle. I think he'll settle against
He
Malik
might.
Hall.
He settled on that last shot against Kentucky, and he hit a fucking dagger. The
Yeah.
the shot that sealed it, the step back three.
I don't know.
Woo,
I don't know.
that was tough.
Tom Izzo is a
Tough.
coach. John Calipari
Well,
is
here's
a
my other
coach.
concern about it.
It's
So
a little bit of a difference.
when Michigan State thrives, right, when they're at their best, it's kind of those small ball lineups where you got Hall at the 5, you got Hauser at the 4. They space you out. They can really shoot it. They're a top 5 team in the country in three-point shooting, and that plays right into Kansas State's hands. Their best lineup is when they have Naquan Tomlin at the 5.
Yeah.
Starting with Michigan State, Kansas State, who wins?
I think the collective effort of Michigan State, guys. I really do. We're going five
Right
deep, five deep against two really, really good players. I love what Jerome Tang has done all year. That all being said, Michigan State and their collective effort and having guards in the program for 2 seasons is going to be huge.
Tom, Izzo, and March. I'm out.
I'm taking Kansas State. I've been on Kansas
not
State.
mad at it, though.
I've been riding the Kansas State bandwagon. I just say here's my prediction more than anything else. Marquise Noel matches the game that he had against Kentucky. I don't know if it'll be 30 points, 8 assists, whatever
Well,
it is.
Keontae Johnson better put up 20 then. Still.
It's a
Yeah.
pick 'em. It's a pick 'em to me.
He's
Like,
an
it's
All-American.
close.
Yeah.
Of course you better.
They just can't have an off night.
Yeah, that's
the
it.
thing. Their margin
you're
for
really,
error is
You're
small.
really going out on a limb, saying that in order for a team to get to the Elite Eight, an All-American has to play like an
You've
All-American.
been telling me how
That-
Tomlin was
wow.
going to explode this year.
He did.
All year.
He did. He had a great year.
He did a solid year.
He had a great
was
year
good.
for a
He was
junior
solid.
college transfer.
He was
No one knew
solid.
anything
Let's move
about
on.
it. Yeah.
I'm going to pick Michigan State because a smart man should pick
Hey,
them.
Tang, I want you to remember this. I want you to remember this, Jerome. Michigan State.
It's only because you have the Tang
Kansas State.
beers.
Remember who rode
That's
with
why.
Yes.
He got a free Tang beer.
Yes.
And now it's like all in.
So
How
now
are you-
is where, when you do this, tomorrow we'll put out the video and we'll like superimpose you flying into the pool. Tang, I want you to remember it. All right, we'll see what happens. All right, game 2, Florida Atlantic, Tennessee. Anybody willing to pick the Owls?
Yeah, I am. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Outright or against?
Wow.
Outright. I'm going to take Dusty
Florida
May.
Atlantic
He's
money line
got
plus
the
185.
Owls.
Plus 185 at
I
Bet
do.
Rivers, baby.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm hooting on too, baby. Florida Atlantic
There we
tonight. Give me FAU.
Am I singing Rocky Top right now?
You can do it. Can you do it?
I can
Do it. Come on, let's hear it.
Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Break every bone in their body.
Good
Rocky Top,
old Rocky
That's what's
Top.
gonna happen. That's what's going to happen. They're going to beat them up.
You don't
They're not going to hit
but like when they
shots.
say
This
it-
game is over, Goodman. It's over.
they
Tennessee's
sing it,
winning,
they
probably by 15.
Where'd your accent go?
Yeah, see, that's a problem. That's a problem.
When you sing, you
got-
lost the accent.
Well,
a
the
little
problem is, Goodman, the whole first year I worked with this company, you told me nobody north of the
Understand you.
Mason-Dixon could understand me. So I've been trying
Well,
to
that's
get
still
rid of it.
true.
That's true. Well,
We want it
I
back.
got to clean it up.
When you sing Rocky Top next time, if they win, we need it.
I want to
Oh,
do.
that's
I
right.
want you and Jim Calhoun to do one hour together.
Jesus. They couldn't understand each other.
That's
Forget
probably
about
true.
everybody else understanding.
That would be tough. That would be tough.
Talking shit with Terrence Oglesby and Jim Calhoun.
That would be a top 5 episode right there.
All right, we're going to take one final timeout. After this, we're going to take a ride on the coaching carousel, get Jeff's latest news. We are live from Stadium Swim at the Circa Resort, folks. It's awesome. They got 2 swim-up bars on the lower level, 30 cabanas and super cabanas that can host up to 50 guests, 38 day beds, bunch of
Bannon,
lounges,
tell them about the TV screen back there.
and a gigantic TV screen that is
Serious
rumored to be
situation.
streaming our show at one point or another this weekend.
This is the place to go.
Imagine
period.
your
the place
face
to go.
on the biggest screen.
That's what we need.
We don't need that. We don't need Goodman in 4K.
We already
we
have
don't
his
need
face on
We don't
a
need Good
t-shirt.
Bloom. We
Now
don't need
we
Good
need
Bloom
him
in
on
4K.
here.
I think it's Goblin. I think it's Goblin.
All right, we'll be back after this for our final segment.
You're reading, Fanta.
Oh, I am reading. Yes, and I'm talking to you all about Vaulted. You guys ever get tired of trying to prove that you won an argument, that your takes weren't hot, that they were right the whole time? Like yours with Michigan State?
like Michigan State over dumbass.
I already locked Kansas State money line in.
For Vaulted.
Lock it in.
Locked it
All
in.
right, all right, I'm
Kansas
going in
State, Florida Atlantic.
But you notice, like, he only talks when he wins. He
Right.
doesn't let you know when he
That's
loses.
Right.
why we're going to know. No, that's where
But
Vaulted
now,
comes
because
in.
of Vaulted, we're going to be able to hold it over his head.
Vaulted is a new sports prediction app that turns your opinions into facts. You can store all your predictions and hot takes in your own vault, now and forever. Challenge your friends, keep track of the results, prove you are the smartest person. Vaulted will also be releasing more than 50 pools in the next 3 months. So download the app at the link below, sign up for your free 3-month trial, and store your predictions now and forever.
Ever.
We're wrapping things up here.
Forever.
On the field of
Tio, if
68
you want a
with the-
way to be able to remember what your takes were, right? And so that you can lock them in correctly, there you go. Vaulted. Lock it in.
Yep.
All right, let's turn to the coaching carousel here. So we talked about Micah Shrewsbury. The most notable news here that has garnered an insane level of traffic that frankly goes beyond just college basketball fans is that Ed Cooley leaves Providence for Georgetown. The move was made official on Monday. The move has continued to send shockwaves throughout the Big East in the sport. The Big East has owned the week in college basketball headlines.
Correct.
Because you have Ed Cooley at Georgetown yesterday. You have Rick Pitino at Madison Square Garden on Tuesday talking about winning national championship. That it's not a matter of if, it's not a matter of when. It's going to happen. Like, this has been quite a week in the Big East Conference. I would say the most impactful collective week for the Big East. I'm not talking about Villanova tournament runs. The most newsworthy
Sure.
in this
'Cause you
version
have
of the
3
league, in
teams
this 10
still.
years.
You have 3 teams still in the Sweet 16 also.
Right.
So, yes, I mean, listen, slow your roll, Rick. First of all, slow your roll. Just get him in the NCAA tournament. And you will. You will.
Yeah.
You're the best damn coach. You and Bill Self are the best coaches in America. You're going to get him. You're going to get him relevant.
Did you catch up with him?
Did I what?
Rick, did you
Yeah,
catch
we like nothing ever happened. Hadn't talked in 5 years. I asked him a couple questions. He was great. So I met up with him and Danny Hurley in Albany. It's a great week for me. Great week. I have no enemies left.
That is
Oh,
not
that's
true.
not true.
That is
All right.
not true.
I have a few enemies.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
It's a huge
listen,
week. Yeah.
Patino, love the hire, love the hire, love the hire. Again, I will put them in my preseason top 25 today, not even knowing they have a player on their team. I'll put them at 25 right
amazing.
now.
He's that good, and he's going to get dudes. We know that. A national title, again, just make him relevant, Rick, for the next 5 years so that then when you retire, they can hire another guy who keeps St. John's relevant. Because St. John's being relevant, Georgetown being relevant, is really good for the sport of college basketball. It's what we want, right? So, yeah, like, Patino, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Like, honestly, Georgetown should have hired him instead of Ed Cooley. They didn't, so it's now St. John's game.
I think it's really interesting because that you put St. John's in a preseason top 25 because I think they'd probably be picked 5th or 6th in the Big East. In other words, this league could go into next year with like 4 or 5.
Know that, but you don't know what they have. If he brings his guards with him from Iona, adds a couple dudes in the portal.
You think it could be a top 3 team in the Big East?
Why not? Why not?
Well, because Marquette's probably going to be top 5 in the country.
Okay, that's fine. Who else?
I think that Creighton, if they return a good amount of their core, is going to be better than St. John's.
Okay, who else? Xavier loses everything. Villanova is nothing great right now.
UConn,
they're going to lose Hawkins. And Sonogo's, what is he, a senior?
Sonogo's a junior.
Sonogo's a junior.
Yeah.
He's a junior?
Yeah.
All right, so they could be good.
Wants another year.
I'm
He's
just
got
saying.
another
Okay,
year.
the point is the Big East is interesting.
They're going to be in that top tier.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
I always laugh
there
whenever
could
I
be
say the word
6 top
tier.
25 teams in the Big
I
East.
ruined that for everybody.
Hey, I got another take for you. I bet Georgetown's going to be a top 25 team next year, too.
We'll
How
see.
good
We'll
is
see
this
on
freaking
that.
league going to be?
That's what I'm
There
saying.
could be 7 top 25 teams.
Here's
Poor
what
Tony
happened.
Stubblefield. Stubbs has no chance. 0. Right? You're laughing. It's true.
I think it's hard for him.
Hard. It's like a mount, like climbing Mount Everest. Stubbs, try to climb Mount Everest.
And it
On
does. I mean,
rollerblades.
if you're Butler,
Done. Thad Matta 2.0. I wasn't in anyway. I love Thad, but like he wasn't all the way in. So like that's not going to work.
Thad Matta or like
Seton
Fuller.
Hall. No, how about Shaheen Holloway? There's one you worry about because there are expectations from Dagan Hughes and other Seton Hall alums that think they're going to be relevant. Fanta as well. I mean, seriously, it's going to be hard to crack the top 5.
It'll be
with
hard.
Shaheen.
The point is, and
It's loaded.
Here's my take on everything that's happened. I'll start with the league and then I'll go to Cooley, since I came from there yesterday.
Can I say one thing?
Go right ahead, and then I'll.
Welcome
I'll
to the league, Kim English.
Yeah, welcome to the league, Kim English,
Holy cow.
to Providence.
Right.
We'll get your thoughts on that higher in a moment. Here's what has happened in the Big East throughout these 10 years of this reconfigured league. I'm done talking about reconfiguration. It's 10 years old now.
Yeah.
This is the Big East.
Right.
The Big East had quality programs performing well. And frankly, until Butler went downhill the last couple of years, those schools that added to the Catholic 7 have actually been carrying their water to help the league. Like Creighton has helped this league immensely.
Sure.
2 Sweet 16s in the last 3 years. And a lot of winning by Greg McDermott, who's now the longest tenured coach at one school in the conference. Along those lines, Xavier's now back. Xavier did what St. John's and Georgetown did this week a year ago. Xavier said, we're sick and tired of losing. 4 years feels like 10 for us. We need to get somebody. We're hiring Sean Miller. Hey, guys, we did have some technical difficulties here. It got warmer than expected in Vegas, but we've worked itself out now, and we got rid of Goodman. So it's not technical difficulties, really.
You're
technical
welcome.
Success.
Win-win.
I would call it a technical win. Just a closing thought on Georgetown and St. John's, 2 of the schools that care about college basketball the most. Basketball's made those schools what they are. They got better in a big way this week. And a parting thought on Ed Cooley going out to D.C. yesterday. We'll talk about this more later this week. I think Ed is still battling. He's battling in his mind this big decision. He said it repeatedly in his press conference and in a sit-down interview with me. This was the move that he and his family felt was best for their next chapter. And I do believe that. I think his family was ready for a change in destination. His daughter is graduating from Georgetown in May and wants to stay in the D.C. area. They made this move, coupled with the fact that there's a full belief in Ed Cooley's mind. He can get to a Final Four at Georgetown, perhaps have the better shot of doing it at Georgetown than he did at Providence.
I said it earlier in the show. Sometimes you max out what you can be at a certain program. And I think he might have done that at Providence, winning the Big East. Providence fans keep pushing back on this. All I'll say is, if you can get Georgetown going right. I don't think that they hired the last 2 coaches they had were necessarily the right guys in the last 6 to 8 years, right? If you get Georgetown going right, you can get a higher level of recruit. We talked to coaches about this. You're not just in the mix with those top 25 5-star guys. You can get them to come to the program.
Yes.
Jordan Brand School, NIL. I think the fact that you get an elite level education matters. You can get players into school at Georgetown that maybe you can't get at other programs that are elite academic institutions, okay? And combine all of that with the fact that you are the biggest program in the center of D.C. in an area that is as talent-rich as any place in the country when it comes to high school basketball.
I think all the things that you're saying are true. And anybody arguing that doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yep.
This is more about the how and the why of the decision.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. But another thing is Providence fans keep coming back. Well, he said this. Guys, things change. Like, things happen with your family. Like, his daughter's graduating, wants to stay in D.C. I know I want to be closer to my kids. And then couple that with the fact that Georgetown is that brand, that Georgetown can get to that Final Four.
Yep.
Not saying Providence can. I'm not shutting that door.
No, they can.
They can, but
They just hired
that
a
being
stud.
said, you have immediate access to the DMV and whatever kid is there. The biggest loser of this whole thing isn't Providence. It might be Kevin Willard. Because now you're competing against Ed Cooley to get kids.
Yes.
That's one person.
He's
that's
got a
like-
little bit of a head start. They were
Honestly, the biggest loser is everybody in the Big East outside of the top 8.
outside of who?
The top 8. The top 7 or 8 programs.
Yep.
I'm like, imagine being Seton Hall right now and trying to compete in this.
I
league.
disagree with that.
Imagine being DePaul and trying to compete in this league.
See, like
it's
DePaul, you can't compare DePaul and Seton Hall. Like, they're not even remotely close.
I
Seton Hall's made like
Think
6 of
that
the
I just
last
did.
8 or 9 tournaments. I don't. I just think Shaheen Holloway just didn't break through the way he thought he could break through. I think Kadari Richmond was lazy.
Yep. A lot to be said there.
Goodbye, everyone. We'll talk to you later tonight.